They thought he was just a security guard, quiet, invisible, replaceable. No one bothered to learn his name. Every morning, before the sun rose over the city, he stood at the tall iron gate of Emerald Crest Estate, dressed in a faded navy blue uniform, a whistle hanging loosely around his neck. His shoes were always clean, but worn. His posture was straight, but humble. Residents passed him daily in shiny cars with tinted windows. Some nodded without looking. Most didn't acknowledge him at all. And some treated him like he was nothing. His name was Samuel Adeyemi. To them, he was just gateman. Samuel's day always started the same way. At exactly 5:30 a.m., he arrived at the gate, greeted the night guard, signed the logbook, and took his position. Rain or shine, hunger or fatigue, Samuel never complained. He watched children leave for school, women leave for work, men leave for meetings. He memorized faces, number plates, routines. But no one memorized him. If a delivery bike came late, he was blamed. If visitors were delayed, he was insulted. If anything went wrong, Samuel was the first suspect. "Security like this is useless," one resident once shouted at him. Samuel only bowed his head and said, "I'm sorry, sir." What they didn't know was that Samuel had built this estate long before any of them lived there.
10 years earlier, the land on which Emerald Crest stood was empty, just bush, red soil, and silence. That land belonged to Samuel Adeyemi. Back then, Samuel was not wearing a uniform. He wore tailored suits. He attended board meetings. He signed contracts worth millions. He was a real estate investor, quiet but powerful. But Samuel believed in something rare, observing people when they think no one important is watching. When the opportunity came to lease his land to a major property development company, he agreed on one condition: he would remain anonymous. The company laughed, thinking he was joking. Samuel wasn't. Years later, after the estate was completed and residents moved in, Samuel returned, not as an owner, but as a security guard. Not because he needed the money, but because he wanted to see something. He wanted to see character. From the very first week, Samuel noticed how differently people treated him. There was Mrs. Benson, who lived in House 7. Every morning she greeted him warmly. "Good morning, sir. Thank you for keeping us safe," she said daily. She sometimes brought him tea. Then there was Mr. Raymond Cole, a loud businessman in House 1. "Open the gate faster," he shouted one day. "Do you think I have time to waste with people like you?" Samuel opened the gate calmly. "Sorry, sir." Mr. Cole smirked and drove off. The worst was Victor, the estate chairman's son. Victor was young, reckless, and arrogant. One afternoon, he drove into the estate without stopping. Samuel blew his whistle. "Sir, please stop and sign in," Samuel said politely. Victor stepped out of his car, angry. "Do you know who I am?" he snapped. "You are just a security guard. I don't answer to you." Samuel nodded. "I understand, sir, but rules apply to everyone." Victor laughed and shoved him lightly. "You're nothing." That word stayed with Samuel for a long time. Months passed. Samuel watched everything. He watched who obeyed rules when no one was forcing them. He watched who helped others without being asked. He watched who disrespected people they thought were beneath them. One night, a heavy rain fell. A woman's car broke down just outside the gate. She stood helplessly, rain soaking her clothes. Many residents drove past. Samuel took off his jacket, ran to her, and helped push the car to safety. The woman cried, "Thank you." No one stopped. Samuel smiled. "It's my duty." That woman was Mrs. Afolian, a single mother living in House 12. Samuel never told anyone. Then, one evening, everything changed. A letter arrived at Emerald Crest Estate. It was addressed to the Estate Management Committee. The letter informed them that the land lease was ending. The residents panicked. Meetings were called, voices were raised, accusations flew. Who owns the land? Why didn't we know this? Can they evict us? The development company tried to reach the landowner. He didn't respond. A final meeting was scheduled. All residents gathered at the estate hall. Tension filled the air. The estate chairman stood up. "The landowner has agreed to meet us today," he announced. "He's sending a representative." Everyone relaxed slightly. "Good, let's negotiate," someone said. Then the hall door opened, and Samuel walked in, still wearing his security uniform. Laughter filled the room. "Why is the gate man here? Is he lost? Tell him this is not his place." Samuel walked calmly to the front. The chairman frowned. "Security, what are you doing here?" Samuel took a deep breath. "I am here for the meeting." The room went silent. The chairman laughed nervously. "This is serious business. Please step outside." Samuel reached into his pocket and brought out a file. He placed it on the table. Inside were documents, land titles, contracts, signatures. The chairman's hands began to shake as he read. The room froze. Samuel spoke calmly. "My name is Samuel Ediemi. I am the owner of the land known as Emerald Crest Estate." Silence. Pure, heavy silence. Faces turned pale. Murmurs spread like fire. "No, it can't be. The security guard? Him?" Samuel continued. "I took this job to understand the people living on my land, to see how power is used and abused." He turned slowly. His eyes met Victor's. "You called me nothing," Samuel said quietly. Victor couldn't speak. Samuel turned to Mr. Cole and Mrs. Benson. "You insulted me many times." Mr. Cole avoided his eyes. Then Samuel turned to Mrs. Benson and Mrs. Afolayan. "You treated me with kindness." From that day on, Emerald Crest Estate was never the same. People learned. Too late for some, but the lesson remained. Never underestimate anyone, because you never know who is watching, and you never know who holds the power.